Well, it's kind of a special opportunity to introduce Roger Stanford because of the years I've had to work with him and alongside him. You know, this is an opportunity to learn about what's happening at Western. It's also a farewell of sorts because Roger is retired and is relocating back to the Chippewa Valley, and I guess you can say grandkids are a pretty powerful magnet. You know, his early career and education started, he was a marketing instructor. He's a veteran. He kind of built from the grassroots up in the technical college system, moving his way up on the academic side of the house to become a vice president. Came to Western in 2015. Was he going to learn a few things, or was he going to apply those ideas and innovations to his opportunity? And guess what? He did just that. In fact, I'm not going to go through all the things that happened in the last 9 years and the things that are happening now at Western, because that's really Roger's talk. But I got to tell you, you'll be amazed. There's some great things happening. Please welcome Roger Stanford.
Yeah, Lee, I learned an awful lot in my time with Dr. Rosh. It has been a pleasure. It is. It's different being up here. Holy cow. This looks a little bit different. I was just enjoying lunch, and now we're up here. I don't have a lot to read, but I have a couple things that I want to actually come from and read a little bit. I want to call out, we're one of the colleges in this community. I have two great friends in this partnership that we call colleges in this community. James, Rick, and I think, are really connected. The colleges really work together. We've been working on some civic work together. I just feel we're all part of this community, and the fact that there's three great colleges in this community, I think, is so strong for everybody that's here. We each have our own market. We each have a little different we serve. I'm going to give you Western's flavor on what we've been doing and where we're at today, and a lot about who we serve, why we serve, and who we're there for. But right now, we are 114 years old. And so a couple things I want to read about it. 114 years of helping lift up people to better jobs, better careers. 114 years of helping people with skills to be able to earn those jobs. 114 years of helping employers in the region continue to grow. 114 years of building economic and social mobility for the people in this community. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And really 114 years of building entrepreneurs in the area, because there's so many of the business owners in this community that are alumni of Western, and we're quite proud of that, of course. And really 114 years of just helping this region really grow economically. That's really important for us. But I want you to think about it this way. So think about your day in the life of a Rotarian, and this will be different people's maybe version of what that might look like. But, you wake up in the morning, and you open your eyes, and you think, all right, I got to go to the bathroom, probably. And so you head in there, and you flip the light switch, okay? Well, let's thank an electrician. You thank goodness you have a bathroom, right? So let's thank the plumbers that are in there. Go to brush your teeth, let's thank those dental assistants that are out in that area. You walk maybe out through your house, and you look at how beautiful this place is, and, you think about your architect then. Yeah, think about your carpenters that built you there. Those are all Western graduates. Maybe you're going to take off to a medical appointment, and so you go out to start your car. Why does it continue to work? Who works on it? Who takes care of it? All those mechanics are Western graduates. And on your way there, who checks you in at a medical appointment? Who brings you in there? Who's nursing you? Well, probably a Viterbo grad or a Western grad, most likely, right? That is going to be in that part of it. But then who's going to do your labs? Who's going to do your scans, your MRIs, your x-rays? Who's going to really do your PT, your PTAs, your OTA? Those people are going to do that. Who's going to go in the surgery room with the surgeon to make sure they have the right equipment and do it right? That's a Western grad. Who's going to take care of you in the post-op? That's a Western grad. And so if you leave there and you're feeling healthier, there's a lot of impact locally that we have in the healthcare area that you're doing it. For some of you, you might be going to drop off your children at a child care center. Those are going to be Western grads. For those of you that are, heading off to work, I can soon laugh about that. But right now, those of us heading off to work, who really helps you there? Maybe that's your accounting. Maybe that's your HR. Maybe it's folks on technology, the web design team. These are all grads of Western. How about those that keep our network and cyber safe, marketing, graphic arts, our legal work that we have in there, lots of Western grads inside of there. So I just wanted to share that as kind of a smidge of what we do, who we are as Western Technical College. Now, I think I can arrow here. Is that right? Nope. Oh, look at that. I'm a teacher. I should know that. Yeah. This is our mission. It stood by for a long time. I'm just going to go to the highlighted underlined piece right now, because I think for the part I want to emphasize today, we're here to change the lives of students and to grow our communities. I got to tell you, I think you guys are here to just change those communities and grow their communities. That's what Rotary really does, and we really take it from that student's point of view. And I think right now, the work for 114 years for, say, associate degrees and diplomas, certificates, apprenticeships, I don't think there's a higher demand than we've ever had right now. It's a beautiful thing. There is so much opportunity that can lift people up and be able to do that, and we feel really good about that mission and who we are and where we stand. It's good work. Let me see if I got it right. Just quickly, I'll do this. We serve 11 counties. We have an independent board. There is a state board. They control some money, and we have to ask them permission for stuff. But our board's independent, and they're elected by local county board officials that are elected, and they're nominated and appointed. So we're not an elected board. We have about 300,000 residents that we serve. We service and work really in partnership with 28 high schools. Really value those relationships. We have campuses. Well, they're kind of all over. So I'll just go over here. We're going to say we're in Trumbull County. We're in Whitehall, Black River Falls, Tomah, Mauston, Viroqua, and then we've got a big public safety center, which I'd like them to present just on what they do in police and fire and paramedic, and that's just a great field. The DNR trains there. It's just an amazing facility. We have 160 acres that are out there dedicated. And that's just such a great profession, and they continue to train each other, and that campus is busy from 7 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night all the time. It's just an amazing facility. If we come here, locally where we're at, you think of our La Crosse campus. You guys have all been around that. But we also have a partnership with UW La Crosse, and we are on health science campus there. We've got a full diesel center, a full auto center. I'll tell you that the diesel center is the best in the entire Midwest. Nobody's got anything like that. The auto center is right up there. We've got an apprenticeship center in the south side. You may know it as Weaver's Grocery many years ago. That is a state-of-the-art apprenticeship center that's there. And it's because it takes a lot of facilities to do technical education. It takes really high-tech labs and big labs. But I just wanted to kind of share maybe what our presence is in there. If you take a glance, what do we do? Well, 14,600 students annually are what we're serving, that have some type of interaction with Western. We got 95 programs. I gave you a few of those. I think you know a lot of those. You know people that are in them. But the one that a lot of people don't know is the businesses served on the bottom. Western does customized training. It's always 150 at least every single year. And so if a business and their people are already employed, but they need skills up in maintenance, in PLC programming, maybe they need MSHA mine safety, maybe they need leadership development or Six Sigma, then our group there builds a curriculum and does customized training. And we have been doing that really well for years, and we serve almost 4,000 in that each year. And I think that's kind of the one that a lot of people don't realize we do. I want to tell you a couple of stories that'll maybe give you a context of who we serve. So I was sitting with one of our instructors. He's telling me about running into one of his grads 1 year after he graduated. Now, this young man was pretty squared away. He was 17 years old, knew what he wanted to do, came to Western, did his degree in 2 years, done at 19, gets a great job, and now he's sitting here, ran into his instructor, and he said, I made $99,000 last year. That's what he tells his teacher. And he said, I can't even have a beer yet. Right? He's 20 years old. That's pretty good income, right? Now, I'm sure there was some overtime and stuff that's related to it. And that's one, honestly, I think that's one really great story about who we serve. Let me tell you another one, though. This is an example of a student I just got to know very, very well. They're a veteran. They're recovering drug and alcohol problems. Some pretty serious domestic abuse history, a woman of color. She persisted in her 50s with lots of help, and she used every resource that we have to get her nursing degree. And she's 2 years out now. I know her well. She's making over $80,000 a year, and it's changed everything for the trajectory of her and her family. And I'm so very proud of her. One other one I'll just talk about is justice involved. So we had another student that kind of made some mistakes, and we have lots of them that have made mistakes, but ended up in jail, right? Sold some drugs while they were in high school. Ended up with 2 years in. While they're doing their time, started in our proven program, working on a GED while they're incarcerated. Finishes that program in there. Now they've served their time and they come out, and we have a program where we help bring them in. She goes into computer programming, go out a couple of years. She's got a great job. She's doing really well. She's taking care of her daughter now. We've lowered recidivism inside of this work. It's just great change. And last time I ran into her, she said, I just really want to be a teacher there one day. And of course, we would love to have that. And so changing those lives is a really important part about what we do. And for the proven work or the justice work, you know, we're in the county jails. We're in Vernon, La Crosse, of course, Monroe, Trempealeau. But we're also in 3 prisons, Jackson, Monroe, and Juneau, running programs. And that's all about lowering recidivism rates. It's just an important part of what we get to do, and that's pretty exciting to me. If you look at, we graduate about 1,200 a year that get a diploma or an associate degree and can walk that stage. But look at the second one. And I would bet most people in here don't even realize that Western graduates 500 GEDs and HSEDs each year. 500. Now, we've got all these districts and all these high schools, and we do it with partnerships with some high schools. We certainly have our own labs in every one of those campuses. There's GED and HSED. But I think when you talk about service, the best work we can do is get somebody that credential, because that leads. And we have been the leader in the state for 3 years in a row in converting those students into diplomas and associate degrees. So that's getting them, thank you. That's getting them then that next level, which is really important. But they got to get that step first. And I'm really proud that we do that work. And I think it's, you know, it's a long time part of what Western's history is. Employed within 6 months, these are just simple stats, right? People get jobs. The jobs are there. I always wonder who the 4% are that just didn't want to work, because the work is there. 84% stay in Wisconsin, and we are a border town. And I cannot count a single person that goes into La Crescent to work. You know, they go over to Weiser, a good partner, and we can't even count them because they're out of state. It's just frustrating, and Rochester pulls them, the Twin Cities pull them. But we do pretty well there. But 99, virtually 100% in our surveys, our follow-up ones, say they were satisfied with their education. And that's something that we're certainly proud of doing. You know, what do they make? I mean, people want to know. You know, that's just giving you some stats of what first-year salaries can look like and what kind of money these students are making now. You know, you're seeing a lot up there. It's 26, 27 to 35, maybe $39 an hour. It's pretty good money that graduates are making in there today. But here's the more important part. What did they pay for their education? And so right now, a 2-year associate degree nurse, now this is just tuition, is under $11,000. It's about 10 grand. So let's say you had to borrow a little bit more. Let's say you borrowed $15,000 to get your 2-year degree. Can you make a student loan payment if you make $67,000? You can. The economics work. That's what it's developed for. If it's reversed and you owe $70,000 and you're making that 60, that's what we hear in the public when people are struggling with it. So the cost of education is very real, and that's certainly important to all of us. But we do truly think that we are a value inside of it. And the other value we really work on is with K-12 and young people. And this is with partnership with our K-12s, right? And we talk about a partnership, really working with them. So they let us work directly with their teachers. And if that teacher can be certified in the program and course that we have and teach the same curriculum, they can get the credits while they're in high school. Well, this was kind of an idea like 10 years ago. And we had maybe 140 credits. And so this is last year's number, 23,600 credits awarded in those 28 high schools. 6,000 students are earning those credits. They can go to UWL. They can go to Viterbo. They can go to Platteville. They can go wherever. Hopefully they go to Western. Sorry, James. I hope they come there. But those credits are all HLC accredited programs that can come to us. And look at this, the dollars saved for taxpayers inside of it. Now, I'm still big in the state trying to say you should fund this. They asked us to do it, Brad, and it was really good, and we got to fund it. That's in there. Sorry, I just saw him. He knows our story. He's a good supporter. I just dropped it in there. Yeah, everybody needs money. I know, Brad. I do know that. Workforce development, if I look at program development, we have 800 people on advisory committees. All our programs are tied to the industry. And, you throw on the workers in that, the HR, maybe a senior leader so you can see what they do now, where they're going, where the future of that job is. The employee partnerships, a lot of you heard of our partnerships with Wanik and the Wanik Center, pretty amazing facility that we have. But we do that with Amplify, with Mayo, with Dahl, and we create specialized program for them to serve them, to do full cohorts of, say, medical assistant and things. And those are partnerships that go. Work-based learning, we have an intern sitting at our table who's interning with UW La Crosse, which is awesome, right? That's where you learn, and that's where a lot of employers get to then maybe talk them into staying. So we implemented something in 2017 that said we want 100% of our programs to have a work-based learning and a community-based learning. And work-based learning means internship, clinical. We were only at like 35. We've been at 100 for several years now. The community-based learning it's not just volunteer hours, and those are important. It's if you're learning, web conference or web design. Maybe while you're in school, you create a website for the local wrestling club, right? But you do something that's real, and it's community-based. It's giving on. And we think that's going to help keep people stay here locally. They get the experience. They know their community better. They know employers that are here. And so we implemented that, and we've hit 100%, and we feel good. Career pathways work. You guys all know about the Boys and Girls Club work. And it's just beautiful work, but we're doing that with K-12s, with academies, just trying to get people interested earlier in the great jobs, which this is really the Boys and Girls Club whole theme of it. Apprenticeship. Do you know you go on apprentice and you come out debt-free? These people that go to be electricians and plumbers, these are fabulous jobs, you guys. And the employer pays for it. It's a great partnership. It's just a great way to do it. And I talked about the other on there. This is some of our facilities that we have, and that, by the way, was Mr. Wanik, who helped us build this building here. It was a renovation. It's a robotics center that you can see in the middle there. I can't tell you anything between a Cobot and a Delta robot, but our people can. And there's dozens of the machines inside of there. But I asked him, and he said yes, and he gave us, he's somewhere around $10 million that he's been on probably in the last 7 years. But he's got about $7.2 million in this as a partner, and he did it for Ashley, but he certainly did it for manufacturers and healthcare because robotics is in just about every field now. Top one, that's a rolling CNA lab. We can pull that into a regional area, to a retirement facility out in a small community, and we could run CNA for them and train workers. We can pull up to a K-12. They just give us a plug-in. All we need is a regular classroom to use, and then we have 2 certified labs, which is really tough to get, inside that mobile unit, which is really cool. Got a grant for that. And then this one down here, simulation. You put on a helmet. They did this to me. I put on a helmet and they dropped me into a trauma situation. There's 2 car accidents, a car accident, somebody hanging out here. There's someone laying here with head wounds. There's a dog barking at me. People are screaming. And I'm supposed to triage this, and I'm just frozen. Obviously, I'm not in healthcare. But for students, it's real. And you can do that for law enforcement, and you can put them in a domestic situation before they've ever had their weapon, right? And so this simulation stuff has really been important. We've invested in it. The top left is our new auto facility. You'll see a donation from Dahl. Up there is a brand new Ford pickup truck on display. We do rotate those in there. The top, Jessica's with me. She said, why don't you take off the picture with the bathrooms? Well, that's because it's a plumbing lab. Nobody has this in our country, this type of lab. This is amazing, honestly. That's a full commercial setup, and they can learn how to do it from the top or the bottom. They can climb. It's underneath. And you can't see the wall on the other side. It's full residential plumbing down below, right? So they see all the stuff that we need in our house, and they can learn. So they come for their apprenticeship, and they can train on that. This is one small part of our public safety center. That's all our ambulance bay, but there's a whole fire bay, and police training needs a lot of stuff. So does fire. They have towers and shooting ranges and all that stuff there. And then this is a diesel lab that we have, and there's 15 to 20 jobs for every graduate that's there. So I'll finish this one up, and I'll get to where I'm at. We are here to strengthen the region. We want to be, we're not a community college like some states, but we want to be your community's college. right? And that the Wisconsin Technical College system, the fact that we tie people directly to work, and we still have a transfer mission that's very important to us, but we're focused on that, is something that we're really proud of. And it's really good for our economy, and we know that we're doing it to drive better wages, life-sustaining wages for this region, and that is great work. So, you know, I just want to say, I know everybody's broke. I know that every K-12 is struggling. I know that our municipalities are. I know that our county is. And so we all go to the state every year and we're asking for more. We are. Western will spend your taxpayer money wisely. The unfortunate part is we don't control any of our revenue. So imagine running a business and you maybe get a little less than 1% growth a year, and you can't choose it. It just happens to you, which could be $140,000 of new revenue, and I need $1.2 million to give a pay raise. So if you look at that, that's the type of stuff that your municipalities and all the people are going. That's why referendums happen, and it's unfortunate because it means we will get smaller in the next decade unless something shifts, and that's really unfortunate. Not here to really cry about it. It's just the reality, and I think really all of the people that work in public service are experiencing it. So I wanted to share that. Then I'll just give it to you as a thank you. We've had so much support by this community for decades in Western. I mean, the scholarships that we have, the work that we've done with everybody, it's not just gifts, but gifts certainly have been a really important part, but you guys know what we're doing for young people, and we appreciate your support in that. And I'll turn it back over or ask questions. Okay, I did it in 20.
Thank you. That was terrific. Thank you, Roger. We learned a lot about the lasting impact that you're creating at Western. And I think we have a couple minutes for questions. So if people have questions for Roger, please stand up or come up, or Bill will be around with the microphone, perhaps.
Roger, who comes next after you?
So Chuck asks, who comes next after Roger?
Yeah, Dr. Kirk Bennett is coming to us from Texas. They did finish the search. You may have saw the announcement. I have had about 4.5 hours with him so far. I got 2 this afternoon. Honestly, great selection. Just wonderful selection, wonderful background, gets what we do, gets who. His earliest work was in that justice work where he helped for recidivism. So he knows the kind of students we have. He has that heart of that, and then has actually a lot of business and finance background as well as the academic. So he kind of had a little bit of everything. He'll be here in the middle of July. That he'll be moved here. He's got 5 kids, 1 that lives with him yet, and all 4 of his other children with families are migrating to Wisconsin to come here. They are committed to here. It's pretty awesome.
Have you invited him to Rotary
Yeah,
yet?
yeah. We've got that set up. He will be here. Yes.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to you on, it's really surprising the number of people that I see coming through my courtroom that don't even have a GED. And I talk about that a lot with people, and I'm like, it's not going to have any bearing on your sentence, but I encourage them to get it. But I will also say this, you have no idea how many people say, well, I just got my GED or just got my HSED through WTC. And I wanted to personally let you know that I hear that story a lot, and I am now starting to encourage folks to reach out through the jail to your group. And so thank you for the work you're doing there.
Keep sending them. That's economic mobility. You're describing it. And hopefully you don't have to see them back then, right? Hopefully we're getting them on the path so they don't have to come back.
Quick question. What's your capacity for student housing nowadays?
It hasn't really changed. We take 200 every year, which for our market is probably about right. What we could really use is family housing. We have a lot of single parents. It's our most vulnerable population by far, and I would love to have a place where we could have it, but then you have to try in a child care center. There's a lot of complexities to be able to operate that. But we usually meet it. We'll have a waiting list, but that'll work down. It's different than the live-in university style, but for some families, this 200, that works every year and works well for them.
Quick comment, not a question. Mike Dively, some of you may know him. He's our head electrician at Rotary Lights. And Mike, by the way, has a master's degree in social work. And he's an electrician, speaking of, right? And he went to, not a couple weeks ago, he went to your the Weaver building, the apprenticeship center. And he came back, and his eyes were just, his jaw was on the floor. He just over and over again was telling people, you can't believe the state-of-the-art stuff that they're teaching kids these days, and how happy he was because Carl Newman, who happens to be a friend of mine, is one of the instructors out there, and Carl brings his kids to help Rotary Lights as well. So it's a double payback there for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Roger. That was terrific. On behalf of the club, a donation has been made in your name for Polio Plus. So thank you so much.